On this episode, Ben talks weed control with the Enlist herbicides, Turk covers the current weather impact on tasseling corn plants, Tommy gives a sneak peek on the 2021 seed guide, and stick around to see what Joe has for the joke of the day.
Hi, this is Joe Mershman. Welcome to Cup of Joe, episode number 50, season 2. Today, our regulars are back. We're going to start right with Ben. Ben, out in the field, what's going on?
There's a lot of post applications that's been going on in soybeans this week. I think we're looking towards a lot of guys, the first posts have been done, and the guys are going back through and they're kind of cleaning stuff up if they've had a few weed escapes. Beans are getting close to canopying in 30s. They've been canopied in 7.5s and 15s for a while now. But what we're looking at is what kind of control we're getting with Enlist and Roundup versus Liberty. And I'm starting to make suggestion towards guys when the weeds are over 4 to 6 inches, and I'm talking the real 4 to 6, not some of the other people's definition of 4 to 6. Yeah, but when the weeds are actually 4 to 6 inches tall, we're having really, really good control of those water hemp and mare's tail with Enlist 1 and Roundup or Enlist Duo, that package together. When we get a little bit taller and we get more growing points on those weeds, for whatever reason, some of them will curl down and then they may pop back up. So if you don't have a good kill in 7 to 10 days and those weeds have popped back up, they're probably not going to survive. So my suggestion that I've been making towards guys this time of year when we're hot and everything's actively growing, go ahead and throw in 2 effective modes of action. Go with your Liberty. Take your gallonage from 18 or 20 up to like 22 gallons. Make sure you got 30 to 40 ounces of Liberty and your quart of Enlist 1, and that's really, really going to be your big hammer that you're going to be swinging to knock out the weeds, because we really, really don't want Enlist affected water hemp to go to seed.
Don't skip on the water either, right, Ben?
Right, 22 gallon of water. I mean,
at least.
Yeah, we're seeing really effective things with Liberty this year with the heat and humidity that we've had. I mean, Liberty's a phenomenal product, and it's one of the only herbicides that we have that's not resistant to any weeds that we know of.
You got to get that AMS in there.
Yep, 3 pounds of AMS right at the very beginning.
Small weeds, Enlist Duo, Enlist 1, working pretty well. But once you get above small weeds, and you're saying above 4 to 6 inches, you better add the Liberty piece in there, move your gallonage up, because if you're going after tall weeds, one effective mode of action is not going to do it. In other words, you need 2 effective modes.
And I would rather go out there at that time knowing that you're going to kill those weeds rather than have the retailer or yourself have to go back out and spend another $6-7 on your application and then another pass of chemical. I mean,
spend a few bucks earlier rather than happen to come back and then have weeds that are really, really hard to kill when they get a little bit bigger and getting hardened off.
You know, you look at the Enlist system, and that's the beauty part of being able to turn on a dime, where you can make those decisions with multiple post applications of whatever herbicide you choose, if it's glufosinate, glyphosate, and the Enlist choline technologies. So.
And you also you can go to R2, where all the other technologies is R1, which first sign of flower, you're supposed to be pretty much done spraying, and you can go into full flower with the Enlist system. So you have some advantages there, but that reminds me of the old saying. He says, why is it that we have time to do it twice but don't have time to do it right the first time? If you really got a really tough problem with Roundup resistant weeds, the only way you're going to solve that problem is 2 effective modes of action, and that's putting that Liberty in there with that 2,4-D choline technology.
Yep. And you don't have to worry about it moving on you and what the humidity is and whether it's going to rain today or what the temperature is going to be. All those things are not an issue with Enlist products. Again, and they're neighbor friendly. You don't have to worry about that.
Good points. Turk, what do you have for us today?
Everybody's watching the weather right now. The markets are watching the weather. Markets moving up a little bit here toward the end of the week, but we've got a cool down coming here for this weekend, which is really good, and hopefully a little rain coming, which is really good because a lot of corn's pollinating. A lot of corn I've seen coming in tassels are out, and so timing is perfect for those to get a nice rain. We don't need these 80-degree nights
What happens, Turk, when the corn plant's a little bit like a human? It's going to sweat like crazy or transpire, is I guess the correct word, during the day, and then at night it wants to rest. It's like humans; it's got to cool down and rest. So what happens? Like I noticed this morning when I got up, temperature was 80 degrees when I was heading to work at 7 o'clock, and I go, holy cow! That doesn't give the corn plant a lot of time to rest.
What happens is if that corn plant doesn't get a chance to rest, or it doesn't drop pollen. I mean, what happens is it just quits dropping pollen. You got to have about a 20 degree temperature rise for corn. In other words, if we get down to 70 and we gets up to 90, we got a temperature rise that will allow corn to shed pollen. But if it is 80 and at night, first thing in the morning, and then it gets up to 90, there's a good chance it's not going to drop pollen or very little pollen. So that's the key. We need those cool downs or that temperature rise. And of course, anytime you get in the mid 90s, you're stressing corn, and it's wanting to not do anything as well. So it's
a critical time right now, and we hopefully some moisture and a cool down to get through pollination, because for corn, pollination is key, just like soybeans, rain during pod fill is key.
Yep.
Strobilurins, which is a common fungicide, it's the common actives, and fungicides have been found to lower the ethylene levels in corn, and that's what like tomatoes use, it's a hormone that turns tomatoes from green to red. Fungicides have been found to pull that ethylene level down that's produced when stress happens, like heat stress for what we're talking right now. So one of the good ways to mitigate some of that is make sure you got your fungicides on to help with this process, to maximize how pollination happens, because this is probably the most critical time in a corn plant's life. Getting it up and now.
And the planes are flying, and so it is time to be lining your plane up if you haven't. And it looks to me like we've got a lot of yield potential out there, Ben.
Absolutely.
Tommy, what's going on?
First thing first, Joe, we got our seed guides in this past week, so they'll be hitting a mailbox near you very soon.
2021 is already here.
That's right. Very good, Joe. They turned out very well. What's most important is you're going to find in there that we offer a wide variety of products from Group 1s all the way to Group 5 with multiple post-herbicide applications for those possibilities. We got selling dealers all across the Midwest with direct buyer opportunities. It's prime for the picking right now. Everybody's calling us every day, talking about Enlist E3 soybeans or even the LLGT 27 side of things. But it's really important to be in front this year. Very good opportunity, especially with the uncertainty in the marketplace right now. We feel pretty good about our position. I think we're going to feel very strong, considering some of the other companies may be out of position.
Yep.
Another thing, Joe, real quick, and I know Ben alluded to this a little earlier in the week, was start scouting your field, especially in those northern areas, for white mold. White mold's starting to set in, and keep an eye out for that. But other than that, that's all I got for you.
Well, I know that we're getting ready to roll it out. We just met with our salespeople this week, getting them all in tune. We will have pricing out the first week of August to our dealers, and so they'll be able to talk to you, and then we plan to do a mailer with our seed guide to all of our customers to get them all set for next year, because I think this is the year you're going to want to buy your seed before harvest to make sure you get the varieties you want. And rest assured, Mershman Seed does not play the sell and substitute game. If you order it, we commit to you and we'll deliver that product. So you don't have to buy half from us and half from another company and hoping that you get half from each company. We don't play the sell and substitute. So we'll be out seeing you soon, and we'll be ready for next year and ready to talk about some great yielding products. Like I said, we've expanded our lineup. We can go both earlier and later now, so we're ready to go. My conclusion is I'm going to have Alex put a post or a link to a really good Purdue dicamba versus 2,4-D injury on soybeans. It's a really well put together pamphlet from University of Purdue, and will help you recognize the differences between the two products. and if you ever run into it. It's a good thing to have in your back pocket if you ever need it. So I'll conclude today with the joke of the day, and this one's a pirate joke. It's actually a question. He said, what is a pirate's favorite letter? What is a pirate's favorite letter? You would think it'd be R, but it's actually C. Oh. There you go.
That's good.
We'll see you next week. In fact, I won't be here next week. I'm taking a little time off. So these guys right here are going to bring Cup of Joe to you. And I know they'll do a good job. And I know they got a lot of pressure on them to come up with a really good joke like I just told. But I'm sure they can do it. I have total confidence. So we'll see you next week. Take care. Hope your family's healthy. And please stay safe. Take care.